We gather together today in the presence of the old story of death defeated by emptiness, of hope and newness triumphant over fear and separation. We come hearts heavy with pain and anxiety, spirits flattened by exhaustion and apathy, vision darkened by strife and violence. We come seeking connection and love in this place of community. May the old Easter story of hope and rebirth lighten our hearts and make us glad in the presence of each other's love. May our spirits be open as we worship together today. Welcome once again to the Unitarian Church of Los Alamos. Welcome to our special Easter worship. Welcome into our homes here amongst our staff. Thank you for welcoming us into your homes. Take this moment now to pause and create a worshipful space for yourself, a sacred space in your mind, in your heart, a space in front of you as well, wherever that may be. Shut out all the other distractions you may be feeling. And let us worship together and begin in silence. Breathe in and out. Rest your feet firmly on the floor and feel yourself grounded as we enter into a spirit of prayer and reflection. We begin by lighting a candle for all our joys this past week, for everything that has opened our heart and lifted it, for everything that has allowed our heart to be displayed in full view to all, for everything that has fed us. We give thanks. And we light another candle for all of our sorrows this past week, for everything that has broken our hearts, everything that has weighed us down, everything that we have felt too small to control. We light this candle in remembrance. It seems odd in the present moment to speak of resurrection, insensitive perhaps in the face of such widespread global suffering and death. But this is exactly why we must celebrate the promise of resurrection and the role we play in the endless spirit of unconditional love. We know life persists and must at least acknowledge the rising that takes place within our own spirits. We gather together on this Easter morning to celebrate a spirit that cannot be destroyed, no matter how many deaths it suffers. Joy overshadowed by worry, courage overshadowed by fear, charity overshadowed by selfishness, love overshadowed by indifference. Each of these is a death of the spirit. Each of these is an opportunity for resurrection. Eternal and beloved, source of all life and all love, we come together this day grateful for this time out of time given to us so that we might become more present to ourselves, to each other, and to that which we call holy. May our hearts be open together, our spirits be lifted together. May we find in this community power to rise when we feel tempted to give in and surrender. May we each find a way to be the source of courage and a rising spirit within the life of another. May we renew our commitment to act from a place of love rather than a place of fear. All this we pray in the names of those known and unknown, present and absent, remembered and forgotten, in the names of all the helpers of humankind. Amen.
Hey folks, happy Easter, Passover, spring weekend. This is the time for all ages, so bring your kids around or your youth or whoever in your family that you want to hear this message this morning. So I have a confession to make. I really like ancient Greek, the language, ancient Greek. I really like it. Y'all didn't know about that about me, did ya? So, today, I'm gonna ask you all to help me out by putting on your thinking caps and your thinking glasses, because we are going to learn some ancient Greek language words for love. Cool, huh? All right, y'all ready for this? All right. So there are 9 words in the ancient Greek language for love. So, the people in Greece, they speak Greek, but this is pre the Greek that they spoke right now. All right, so these words came from ancient times when the Greek people spoke a little bit of a different language, and they're all words for love. And we're gonna go over some of them. Let's see, they're in these Easter eggs. So the first one is storge. Storge. Family love. Unconditional love, Love that shows gratitude to your family members and those who have helped you grow. Maybe your mentors, family members. So storage. Everyone say it with me. Storage. You guys have to repeat these words, okay? So that's one. Ooh, what's this one in the orange egg? Philia. Some of you have heard this one before. So this is love between true friends. Friendship love. So yeah, love between you and your friends. It's pretty cool, huh? And your teammates maybe? People at church maybe? Or at school? Or at work? So this is friendship love. Say it with me. Philia. Cool. Ooh, flew away. Philia flew away. Let's see this one. Felucia. Love. So this is love for yourself. So it's being healthy and happy with yourself. So what are some things that you love about you? Maybe you love that you can draw a cool picture. I love that I can play basketball. That's pretty awesome. Or maybe you love that you can take hikes every day. Or maybe you love that you love your friends. That's pretty cool. So this is self-love. Felucia. Let's see what's in this green one. Pragma love. So this is long-lasting love. So it's enduring and mature love. Like maybe in a marriage, or love that continues to keep growing throughout your life with somebody. Pragma. Everyone say it. Pragma love. Pretty cool. Oh, my green one fell. Let's see. What is this one in the blue? Xenia love. What is Xenia love? It is hospitable love. So this means like offering our love to like strangers that we encounter in our life. Love and care. And with this love, we can learn from others who are different from us. Xenia love. Ooh, what's this one? Let's see. Agape love. Maybe if some of you have heard of this one. Agape love. So this is universal love for all people. Empathic love. So this is believing that all people deserve love. So it's kind of like our first UU principle, to respect everyone, and that all people are important, and that all people deserve our love. Agape love. It even means loving your enemies. So this can be one of the hardest forms of love, but maybe one of the most important forms of love for our world. Agape love. Say it with me. Agape. Cool, huh? Wait, I have one more egg. What's in this one? Oh my gosh. This one says, love is greater than fear. And that's what we're talking about today in our service, that love is greater than fear. And did you know, like I said, there's 9 words for love. We went over 6 of them, I think. There's 9 in the ancient Greek language. And there's not even a word that exactly says fear. So, love is greater than fear. Pretty cool, huh? So this week today for your intention table activity, I'm gonna ask you guys to show love outside and display signs of love and hope at your house for others to see, maybe when they walk by or drive by, since we can't get out there right now and we have to stay at home. So show some signs of love and hope that you want to share with your neighborhood and your neighbors. So maybe today I'm gonna go out and do some sidewalk chalk and draw some maybe rainbows, hearts, love, lots of fun, hopeful messages. And maybe if you don't have sidewalk chalk, you can make a poster, put it up in your window, make an Easter egg, put it up in your window, or make a poster and put it up outside on a tree or a fence. So let's show the world some signs of hope and love, and that love is greater than fear. Happy Easter, spring, Passover. See you all next time.
Our reading this morning comes from the UUA Meditation Manual, Day of Promise. This is titled Exaltation by Linda Underwood. All this talk of saving souls. Souls weren't meant to save, like Sunday clothes that give out at the seams. They're made for wear. They come with lifetime guarantees. Don't save your soul. Pour it out like rain on cracked, parched earth. Give your soul away, or pass it like a candle flame. Sing it out or laugh it up with the wind. Souls were made for hearing breaking hearts, for puzzling dreams, remembering August flowers, forgetting hurts. These folk who talk of saving souls, they have the look of bullies who blow out candles before you sing happy birthday and want the world to be in alphabetical order. I will spend my soul, playing it out like sticky string into the world so I can catch every last thing I touch. This is a difficult Sunday for Unitarian Universalists, this idea of Easter and of resurrection. Some of us are still Christians at heart, and we live for this holiday and everything that surrounds us, and some of us struggle with the story of death and violence inherent at the beginning of this season, and some of us struggle with the ideas of miracles, of the possibility of resurrection at all. And now, coupled with the times we are living in right now, the thought of celebrating the idea of resurrection seems irreverent, perhaps. Wrong, somehow. And yet, for my own part, I feel the necessity to celebrate Easter and to cling to some idea of the resurrection, even at a time like this, surrounded by death as we are. I feel the need for resurrection. But how to speak of such a thing when we already struggle with it? I hear the voices of my old teachers telling me to read my Bible with a critical eye, to look for the human story in the miracle. And so I find myself this week, as I have in years before, living with the disciples in the upper room that they have locked themselves in. After the arrest of Jesus, the disciples hide away out of fear for reprisal and violence to their own selves. Out of a sense of self-preservation, they lock themselves away into hiding. And after the trial and the execution of Jesus, of their rabbi, they hide from their own grief. They are filled with a numbness, paralyzed by the trauma of what has happened, the trauma of those who are left behind in death. What is next? I imagine they are asking themselves. What will we do? What will be done to us if ever we were to leave this room? It's easy to identify with the disciples today, locked as we are in our own upper rooms or living rooms or lower rooms, basements, garages, wherever it is we have chosen to shelter in place at this time. We are struggling today with our own fears and anxieties. We are sheltering in place because we know it is the right thing to do, to take care of ourselves and of others. We are locked away out of a sense of fear and self-preservation, and even still, even knowing this, we are living with the paralysis of our own current trauma. We are grieving. Trauma specialist Jennifer Yeager had a lovely graphic out on social media earlier this week, and I posted it to my own Facebook page for everyone to see. But she asks us to acknowledge that we are going through a time of trauma and to understand what is happening to us in this time. Part of our brains is shutting down to cope with what is going on, she tells us. And because that part of the brain is shutting down, we're just not able to fully process everything going on around us. And as a result, we start to feel numb and out of touch with our own selves. Numb and out of touch with our own selves. Our souls are suffering from their own small version of death. And yet we are talking about resurrection today. How can we? Look to the human story. There are two resurrection stories tied into these Bible stories. Two stories of resurrection. One is of the person of Jesus. That is the story that so many of us may struggle with. But the other is a story of the resurrection of Jesus' message and his ministry. A resurrection that the disciples take part in. And this is an appropriate take for Unitarian Universalists. Our history is full of the theme of the persistence of ideas over time. And it is that persistence of idea that I turn to today. This second story of resurrection takes a little more time. It is longer than 3 days. The story, as it is related to us in the Acts of the Apostles, says that after 50 days, the disciples all of a sudden emerge from that room they have hidden away in, emerge fired up with the message of their rabbi. After a time of great struggle hidden away, something stirs within them, and they cannot hold back any longer. And as the book of Acts describes it, each seems to be lit above by an individual flame filled with the Holy Spirit, it says. And when they go out to preach the message of Jesus, everyone around them hears it in their own language. The rabbi is dead. The message persists. The message insists on itself. It is this message of unconditional, divine, unending love that overcomes the fear the disciples feel. The disciples overcome the death of their own spirits to become the hands and the voice of that divine and endless and unconditional love. Now perhaps they understood that this love would persist without them, but they also knew, fired up as they were, that that love was better with them participating in it. After the resurrection of the person comes the resurrection of the spirit of those left behind. A resurrection that allows them to reclaim the message of their teacher and proclaim that love that lives beyond any one life. And it is this resurrection of the Spirit that I am turning toward today, and that I take as a sign of hope in dark times. Here we are. We are grieving. We are numb. Some of us may even feel paralyzed by it all. I know that numbness has been the theme of my own life this week, almost every day. Here we are surrounded by death on all sides, and mourning also a slow death in our own souls. Still, even if I doubt life after death, even if I doubt the resurrection of a person, I know that there is love after death. A love stronger than anything that might try to break me. The resurrection of my spirit from the depths of trauma and grief is still possible. And will it really only take 50 days? That'd be nice. But let's be clear, that number is heavy with symbolism. It's poetic license. It's not a strict timeline. Trauma experts say it could take years to deal fully with the depths of what we feel. But it is possible. So despite everything, I celebrate the possibility of resurrection. Love persists. It persists without us, to be sure, but it is better still when we are ready to participate in it. When the time comes to emerge, it will be the fire of our own spirits, unable to resist the persistence of that love that will drive us forward out from our own upper rooms or from the cocoons of our own grief. In that resurrection moment, may we find a new and increased strength to be the hands and the voices of that persistent love, letting our lives speak in a language all can hear as their own. it be so. It is time once again for our offering. The month of April is dedicated to our friends at the Juvenile Justice Advisory Board here in Los Alamos in support of their work on behalf of programming for youth and families here in the county. Please give as generously as you can. The link to donate directly to JJAB is in the notes below this service here on YouTube or on our website. Please give generously, and may what you give bring you joy and into deeper relationship with this community. Friends, may life bless us and keep us. May the light of life shine upon us and out from within us and be gracious to us and bring us peace. For this is the day. This is the one wild and precious life we are all given. So let us all find a way to rejoice and be glad in it. Go in peace.